Hey friends, fragrance fans, Tommy with Studio Sense here. Appreciate you stopping by today. I really like doing videos of this type because it gives me an opportunity to look at my collection and say, you know what is similar to this fragrance? And how would somebody that really likes this fragrance like these? It gives me an opportunity to do some comparisons and give you guys some ideas about how to kind of change up or add life or infuse new creativity into your fragrance rotation. And so today we're going to be talking about, I think, 8 fragrances that are very similar to Tom Ford's Noir Extreme, a very popular, very strong, very powerful, pungent fragrance for fall and cooler weather. If you've never tried Tom Ford Noir Extreme, this will give you an opportunity to know what's similar to it. But if you have this, if you own it, or if you've tried it and you're thinking about pulling the trigger on this one, you might want to check these out first because they are substantially less expensive than is Tom Ford Noir Extreme. And that's yet another reason to go over these. So I've got that and just a bit more coming up, so stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. I do want to say this real quick. I've got these fruit flies that have multiplied over the last few days. I don't know where they've come from. My mother had this home remedy of pouring apple cider vinegar into a kind of glass or whatever. You put cellophane on top of it, punch some holes in it. They get drawn to it, they go inside, they get trapped in there, and that supposedly takes care of the issue. So I made several of those, but then I ordered some fruit fly traps off Amazon, and they're the exact same thing. They're just in the form of like a little tiny plastic apple that you pour their special formula, which is just apple cider vinegar, into, and they get trapped in and can't come out. They're the insect equivalent of rabbits, and they multiply so fast, so I apologize if you keep seeing them flying across the camera lens. All right, first, let's talk about what makes Tom Ford Noir Extreme so great. It is its dark, vanillic heart. Basically, you've got a combination of sandalwood, mastic, vanilla, coffee, jasmine, rose, amber, saffron, cinnamon, nutmeg. There are a ton of notes that contribute to Tom Ford Noir Extreme being the wonderful fragrance that it is. And these fragrances have very similar notes, but it's also how they're blended. Our first fragrance that I want to talk about, similar to Tom Ford Noir Extreme, is from the house of Guerlain, from the very popular L'Homme Ideal line. It is L'Homme Ideal L'Intense. L'Homme Ideal L'Intense, of course, features that same almond note that made this line so popular. Just like Noir Extreme, it carries a rose note, but in the very back of that warm and welcoming almond note is a perfectly smoky note. Sandalwood, vanilla in the base, but that smoky note in the background is kind of what brings it in the realm of Noir Extreme. Now, Noir Extreme, it's on the cool side of spicy. See, there's spicy hot, spicy warm, and then there's cool spicy. And that's kind of the feel that you get from L'Homme Ideal L'Intense. Fantastic fragrance overall, just on its own merits, but it carries that same Noir Extreme kind of vibe. And you can't really think, in my mind at least, of L'Homme Ideal L'Intense without thinking of Givenchy Gentleman Boise. I love how this smells. I've already started wearing this one. It's a fantastic fall fragrance / cool weather winter fragrance, but overall I think it's best for the fall kind of weather. Although you can wear it in the harsher days of winter, this one has a really nice smoky note in the background similar to L'Intense that is very much reminiscent of the darker side of Noir Extreme. Of course, the difference in this and the way Noir Extreme smells, this has that iris note in it, along with that cool, peppery, geranium, wood smoke background that is, again, reminiscent of Noir Extreme. Givenchy Gentleman Boise, the Eau de Parfum. Just so you don't get confused, because a lot of times the bottles confuse people, there is a new bottle that looks a bit different. But whether you get the new bottle or the old bottle, you've got to try this one out. The next fragrance that if you like Tom Ford Noir Extreme, you're going to love is one that I've talked about even recently on my channel because I think it's such a fantastic fall transitional cool weather fragrance at the price. It's the very definition of cheapy gem by Salvatore Ferragamo in the Uomo line. It's Uomo Signature. Still keep my tab on this because these lids kind of tend to get sticky after a while, and this just keeps them from getting kind of sticky there. Uomo Signature, it's a light gourmand fragrance that has a focus on cappuccino and coffee, but it's not so coffee-esque that it doesn't remind me a bit of Noir Extreme. This is going in a little bit warmer direction than does Noir Extreme, but it does kind of carry that dark richness. And in this case, it's the cinnamon, leather, tonka, and coffee notes that recommend it as being similar to Tom Ford Noir Extreme. And again, guys, you cannot beat the price of this fragrance. It's like 40 bucks or something really ridiculous for the kind of smell that you're getting. This next fragrance that if you like Tom Ford Noir Extreme, you're gonna love is, by its own merits, a fantastic, truly niche-like quality fragrance that's been used in conjunction with Chopard many times. Part of the popular Malaki line is Chopard Black Incense Malaki. Now this one is more reminiscent of the cool, dark incense heart that is Noir Extreme. This is a great combination of spices, Somalian incense, a little bit of leather, I believe, and some oud. But the oud takes a backseat for sure to the incense. So you're getting heavy incense in this, and that's what reminds me quite a bit, actually, of Noir Extreme. Our next fragrance that you'll love if you like Tom Ford Noir Extreme sounds like something you would say to a cabbie to make them stop if you're sharing a ride with your friend and they happen to pull up next to their place. This is him. It's from Zadig and Voltaire. This is him. I always look forward to this time of year because I can add this back into my rotation. It's a fantastic incense heavy fragrance. Now, this one is a little bit more heavy on the sandalwood than is Tom Ford Noir Extreme. That grapefruit and black pepper is a fantastic opening that quickly moves out of the way for a darker heart of vanilla and frankincense to recommend its similarities. This is overall just a great fragrance to wear. The performance is great, and I can't recommend it enough for this type of weather, but particularly because it reminds me of Tom Ford Noir Extreme. This fragrance that I'm going to recommend now, that if you like Tom Ford Noir Extreme, you're going to really like this, was made back when Mercedes-Benz cared about men's fragrance. Right now, their releases are a little bit lackluster, at least in my eyes. Maybe something will come along to change my mind on that. But this one is Mercedes-Benz Select Night. Just as a standalone fragrance, not even talking about the similarities between Noir Extreme and this, it's definitely worth having. Not only because of the price, because it is a very inexpensive designer fragrance, but because it is a unique, outstanding date night, just nighttime wear, just like the name. This is definitely one that you will want to select to wear during nighttime and date nights. It's a great overall fragrance, but its dense, prolific, woody heart and rich vanillic base is what reminds me of Noir Extreme, a quality fragrance by Mercedes-Benz, and I'm really happy that they have not discontinued it. So grab it up while you can. Mercedes-Benz Select Night. Now, I might get a few eyebrows with the recommendation of this one, that if you like Tom Ford Noir Extreme, then you'll love this. It is Viktor & Rolf's, of course, Spicebomb Extreme. The differences in Spicebomb, of course, are it's spice heavy, it's tobacco intense and spice heavy. After it dries down, then it gets a bit cooler. This shares the similarities and notes of cinnamon, saffron, vanilla, amber, but those are the similar notes that actually, when combined and when worn in the dry down, remind me very much of Tom Ford Noir Extreme, or at least very similar to it. It also has that same masculine directive. There's just something that makes you feel better. It just adds to it boosts your self-esteem, your confidence level whenever you wear Noir Extreme, and this will do exactly the same. The last of the 8 fragrances that I can recommend if you like Tom Ford Noir Extreme, that you'll love these, is actually from Hugo Boss. It is Hugo Boss bottled Parfum. Now, in a side-by-side smell test that I did between Boss bottled Elixir, Boss bottled Parfum, Parfum came ahead just a bit. Because of the mandarin, the frankincense, the fig root figures prominently in that as well. You've also got some nice leathery notes and cedarwood in the base, carrying a similar vibe or similar feel to it as Noir Extreme. So if you don't own Boss Bottled Parfum, try to get a sample of it. I think you'll really enjoy it. You'll really like it. If you like leather-based fragrances, although the leather isn't super overt in this, I don't think you really get the leather until it starts drying down a bit. But there are enough similarities to how this feels overall to recommend it. It's just a great fragrance overall in the Boss Bottle line, even as there are some similar fragrances. So it's on the cooler side without being as warm, spicy as Boss Bottle Elixir is. That's it for what I can recommend. I did want to bring this one up though because people say some interesting things about it, and it just proves that our industry or our genre is pretty subjective, meaning everyone's bringing to the table their own experience and their own thoughts, which can be vastly differing. And so some people have said that Le Beau Male, which is a Le Male flanker, smells similar to Tom Ford Noir Extreme. Now, to my nose, I don't really get that. I can kind of see where someone might think that to a degree. There's vanilla in here. This one is a bit more on the tropical side as opposed to being a cool weather fragrance like Noir Extreme is. But if you want to try it out and make up your own mind, I would be interested in hearing your opinion of that. Now, if you didn't want to go the route of these are similar to in terms of recommendations of fragrances like Tom Ford Noir Extreme, and you wanted to pick up a straight up clone, there are plenty of clones to choose from. There is Armaf Odyssey Homme, which is very much like Noir Extreme. There's Just Jack Noir Endurance, which is a pretty good clone of Noir Extreme, and several others out there. But the reason I like recommending these others is because they have a leg to stand on, having a personality of their own. They're not just exact clones. You can wear them for other reasons that aren't related to Tom Ford Noir Extreme, and so that opens up the versatility quite a bit. But let me know what your thoughts are. If I missed some that you feel are very similar to Tom Ford Noir Extreme, please list those below so that we can all benefit from that. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in to today's video. I really appreciate your time, and I hope you're getting a lot out of these recommendations. Let me know again in the comments. I always appreciate reading those. Thanks again for tuning in, and as always, thank you so much for your continued support on my channel. I'm Tommy with Studio Sense, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video review.